Alright, Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, the elect of Yahushai. Kal Halalim Le Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah. Double honor goes out to the venerable apostles of the great millstone who rule and teach Yasha Allah well. Enough respect, blessings and salutations to the Akim pushing his word throughout the four corners of the world. And to you few sisters who are doing the right thing, being diligent. To you I say Shalom. And Adawan Ratazah, which means Lord willing. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So, as you can see from this article on the screen, it's just more proof that we're in the end times and more proof of an economy circling the drain and crashing. Okay. Ultimately, all this is coming to Babylon the Great, America. Now, this is from upday.com or upday.com. Okay. And this is from the 25th of October this year. Alright. An article title reads, Prices of everyday items like pasta, chips and tea rise by over 60%, and that's a lot. Alright, these are just your common, simple food, so to speak. It's not like it takes a lot of skill or effort to make pasta, and it's relatively, it's not like your top niche food, your top top quality expensive foods. Alright, they're just your basic necessities, your basic foods like cheese, bread, milk, things like that. And if they could rise up to by over 60%, well, goes to show that the economy is crashing. Okay. There's many contributing factors that cause inflation. Alright, and we're already in an energy crisis as we speak, especially with the war going on between Russia and Ukraine. Okay, there's more of a demand for natural things such as gas and oil. Alright, and we already know petrol has gone up. Okay, that in itself puts a strain on energy prices to increase. Okay, and that's going to lead to an increase for bills. Alright, for your household. Alright, the list goes on. As well as businesses, supermarkets, whatever. And of course, that's going to lead to businesses struggling for profits. That may result in layoffs. Alright, and shortages of goods. Alright, and that's causing more supply problems because that's pushing up prices. Okay, so let's get into the article. It reads, the cheapest food in the UK supermarkets. Right, the cheapest food in the UK supermarkets have become almost 66% more expensive in the last year, according to new data by the Office for National Statistics. The prices of pasta, tea, chips, and cooking oil, everyday foods that struggling households often turn to, right? Because these are just your common foods, like I mentioned before. All right, pretty much everyone has this in their homes. Have increased enormously, worsening the cost of living crisis. Alright, so expect homelessness, expect people to borrow from each other, borrow more food from each other, loot from shops, steal from shops, just to feed themselves and their families. This comes as the inflation rose to a 40-year high at 10.1% this year, while the pasta prices increased by 60%, the cheapest vegetable oil in supermarkets jumped by 65%, and tea prices rose by about 46%. And this is the times that we're in. That's why it's imperative, for our people, your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelites scattered across the world who may look like these other nations, whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through their fathers. You're the children of Israel, and you can repent. Okay? Now let's get first precept. The book of Revelation, chapter 6. Verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right, and the oil and wine going into the understanding of the scriptures, which is taught by our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have the 100% truth. We say that comfortably, humbly, confidently, and without pride. Okay. So we're coming to the point where it takes a day's wage to pay for like a loaf of bread. All right. I believe it is a denarius that was the currency, of Rome to for the wages during the Roman times. All right. So hey, that's the condition of the current system we live in. I believe it is. If I go Revelation 6:6 again on the blue letter, then go to interlinear to double check something. Right, for a penny, Greek word is
Strong's G 1220. Denarion.
And it goes into a Roman silver coin in the New Testament time. It took its name from its being equal to 10 asses. A number after 217 BC increased to 16. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the labourers in the vineyard, it would seem that denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wages, right? So it's going to take, all right, all your wages that you earn, all right, from your job, just to pay for your basic foods, like your tea and your milk, your cheese, your pasta, your bread, etc. Researchers collected over 1 million prices from various supermarket websites since the past 1 year and compared the cost of the least expensive products available. So, hey man, they're comparing them. All right, nowadays you got to shop around. You think you can go to the really one supermarket? Because I don't go to one. I have to shop around. You think you can go to one and then just decide to put all your eggs in one basket there and just get all your necessities there? Everyone's trying to find the cheapest deal they can get. This process was carried out to understand how the cost of living crisis is affecting the less privileged households, of course, and we, us Israelites, we're at the bottom we're at the bottom of the social economic ladder, all right? We're already at the bottom anyway, so that, hey, it's going to affect us even more, plus the curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28, okay? Haggai 1:6, we brought in so much and so on. I'll get that. Book of Haggai, where is it? Chapter 1, verse 6. Bear with me. You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothed you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages, put into a bag with holes. Right? As soon as we get our wages, goes to bills, tax. And tax is paying tribute. Okay. It goes to public transport or petrol for your vehicle, etc. And then you're left back with very little to repeat the cycle again. So like because we're in captivity of going to work and then having to pay Esau back. All right, and that's the thing. We're in captivity because we went off. All right, we went against our power. All right. It says national statistician, Sir Ian Diamond said, while the recent spike in inflation began with energy prices, today's fresh insights using a new innovative data source show they are now filtering through to other important items, with the cheapest price of some staple food items rising by around 2/3 in the last year. Earlier this year, campaigner Jack Monroe called on the ONS, asking them to update the methods it uses to measure inflation to gather a better understanding of the impact of rising prices on the poorest households. Okay. I'll just read certain parts that stick out more. However, there was also a decrease in price for some items like orange juice, which dropped 9%, and minced beef, which became 7% cheaper. That'll be temporary. Okay. While other foods may drop in price, others will increase. So it's a lose situation either way. Another set In another set of data published by the ONS, it observed that 72% of people using energy meters are struggling to pay their bills. Right. And that's right, man. Okay. The energy crisis that's going on, the war between Russia and Ukraine, right? That's disrupted supplies, from the two countries which are major exporters of goods, such as sunflower oil and wheat. Okay. And in the UK, we get our foods from the EU and abroad. Okay, so we heavily rely on that. Like rice from India is an example. Okay. So, things are just... Again, this is the year of Yahweh Shem Yahushai turning up, deemed by Elder Apostle Tar. A separate survey of people showed that 69% of Southern Kingdom adults, or 69% of Israelites, and 59% of Asian adults are finding it difficult to pay their bills. Comparatively, only 44% of white adults are struggling with their bills, right? So, these heathens and Esau, they're not in... Yeah, they're going through... everyone's suffering. Everyone's going through, through this hardship. But it's worse for... worse for the tribes. Okay? It goes to show Esau didn't even care about his own. Here it is, it's your kingdom, and yet your own people that are suffering badly. Okay? Verbatim, 69% of black adults and 59% of Asian adults are finding it difficult to pay their energy bills. Comparatively, only 44% of white adults are struggling with their bills. It was also reported that 55% of disabled adults are finding it difficult to afford their energy bills, and about 36% are even struggling to afford their rent or mortgage payments, compared with 40% and 27% of non-disabled people, respectively. And a colleague at work was telling me that, you're best off not even putting out for a mortgage. We don't even have we don't have much time left anyway in captivity. Because, we might even possibly get delivered next year. I can't see, maybe the year after, 2024. I can't see it really going to 2025. So now it'd probably be wise just to continue with rent, or just, find another means of living versus, rather than paying mortgage. In fact, the etymology of the word mortgage, I'll get real quick. Let's bear with. But only the elect are going to bear with. Mortgage, right, from Etim Online. Goes into, from the late 14th century, mortgage, a conveyance of property on condition and security for a loan or agreement. Alright, from Old French, mortgage, if I'm pronouncing that right, literally dead pledge. Okay, dead pledge, death pledge, basically. Because, you're constantly paying that. Constantly paying. Okay. It's Slovakia. Right, forgive me for that. I had to sort something. Forgot where I was at, but, a mortgage. Alright? It's best to just either rent, like a small apartment, or whatever the case may be, stay at home. Alright? Okay. Here's another article. Now this is a top, like your top quality niche, alright, expensive brand supermarket with in England, M&S. Okay. Now this is from the 12th of October. Alright. This year. It says M&S to close quarter of bigger shops as it struggles with rising costs. Alright. And even they're struggling. Okay. Marks and Spencer is closing 1 in 4 of its largest stores as it looks to save hundreds of millions of pounds on rent. Alright, so they're struggling on rent too. M&S told investors that it was speeding up plans to shut larger shops in the face of a difficult economic backdrop. So they're telling you outright, man. Alright, and it had been planning to close 67 of its full-line stores. Alright, so they've been planning that from before already. Alright, which stopped clothes and homeware within the next 5 years, but will now shut them within 3 years. It has 247 full-line stores across the UK, but it's planning to trim that down to 180 sites. The retailer is also opening more than 100 Simply Food stores, aiming to have 420 within the next 5 years. It follows a stronger performance from the division in recent years compared to clothes and homeware. Alright, man. So, hey, sedition is coming. Alright? And you heathens, you have no hope whatsoever, man. The switch from large department stores to smaller food shops is expected to save M&S more than £300 million in rent, the company said. The goal to rotate the estate to high-quality new space remains the same, but how ambitious to go faster? The 67 large stores slated for closure are understood to be among the 110 shop closures announced by M&S in 2019, so they announced it back then. Alright, but their shutdowns have now been accelerated. It is thought that the majority will be on hold high street locations and not in city centres with office populations, even as workers drag their feet to give up remote working fully. Alright. Especially with people working from home, there's been a lack of motivation to even go and look for look for jobs where you go on site. And especially with the layoffs and the C19 shutdown, okay, it's kind of disrupted people's motivation and ambition to go back to work, because they've been wanting to just, now that they stayed at home, they've been comfortable with that, and they'd rather just be unemployed. In some locations, M&S is planning to take stores out of town centres and move them into retail parks, as it had already done in North Wales. Alright. So that's it. Let's get another bear with me. Get the book of 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 22. Alright, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Alright, and that's going into your warehouses, your supermarkets. Alright, there's already a lack of things on the shelves. Of course, there's the cost, alright, of things going up, prices of things going up. Alright, that's already happening. Okay. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, in 3 hours they shall not run. Okay. And that's the point we're coming to. Alright. People are gonna invade one another's houses. Alright. Neighbours that grew up with each other. Alright. For years are gonna turn against one another as if they've never known each other before. Alright, because in times of hunger, okay, people are not themselves. And I forgot who mentioned it, but whoever controls the food and the water controls the people. It was a quote by a figure from an historical figure, and I forgot who the individual is. Alright. And that's the case. And the thing is that, especially with like lorry drivers striking, there's also a lack of products and food being distributed up and down the country. Okay? Because everything is going up except wages due to inflation. Alright? So things are getting delayed, if they even get delivered, alright, to their destinations. Like your warehousing, your supermarket stores. Alright? And if businesses it's themselves can't even get a hold of shipment that they need for their, their products that they need for their business, that they need to utilize, then they can't perform at a rate that they'd like to. Okay, they can't perform at a standard that they would usually perform at. All right. So then companies, they'll fail in certain areas. All right, and then they have to, pay, rent. All right, for their bills as well. Okay. That's the thing, and Brexit, that's not helped with this neither. Let's get another article. That's why we need a righteous rulership, man. Okay. That's why we need a righteous rulership under Yahushai, under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now this is from silicon.co.uk. Alright, and it reads, Microsoft confirmed second round of job cuts. Second round of job cuts. Okay. Microsoft has continued to cut expenses after a second round of job cuts at the software giant was confirmed by a company spokesperson. On Monday, that Microsoft internally announced layoffs. Alright. So within the company, they already announced layoffs. Okay. So they're not going to look to hire new individuals when they're already laying them off, or about to. There was no official confirmation of the number of staff handed their P45s. Reported that the layoffs numbered under 1,000 people. It's still a lot. It seems that the redundancies have occurred across a variety of levels, teams and parts of the world at the tech giant. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed the company had let go of additional workers as the software maker's revenue expected to slow thanks to weaker sales of Windows licenses for PCs. It should be noted that these latest job cuts come 3 months after Redmond had announced a round of layoffs affecting less than 1% of employees in early July. And this article was this year. Okay. See if there's any important parts. But really that's, the point has been made really. Okay. Point has been made. Let's get another scripture. Go to Proverbs chapter 29, start of verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. That's why there's protests and marches and strikes left, right and centre from every industry. Okay. Because the wicked are ruling. Right? This man's laws is democracy. Alright? It's poisonous to the inhabitants of the world. That's why the people are, more depressed than ever now. Alright? Suicide rate has gone up. Because the wicked are ruling. Esau, Edom. The so-called white man, pursuant to Job 9 and 24. Alright? Mental health on the increase. Okay, depression increasing. Things of that nature. That's the case. Let's get one more scripture and I'll close out. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Alright, and the keepers of the house goes into your economists. Alright, the economy watchers. Alright. Those guys who report on, how the economy is, the news, of what's gone up or gone down. Alright, in the economic market, basically. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. Alright, and it really is. There's less work, more job cuts, more businesses closing down. Alright, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And the music is terrible. Alright? Look how many rappers have passed since now, between now and 2020, and even earlier. Okay? And then people bringing that into the ministry, Israelites bringing that into the ministry, when the truth doesn't need that. Alright? So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. So that's the condition of where we are. Okay? And that proves salvation is near. Okay? In fact, let's look at the word inflation. I forgot to define that. It reads, bear with me, what's it doing now? Satan just messes around sometimes, man. Alright, and it reads the action of inflating something or the condition of being inflated. Okay, that's one definition. Right, second, a very brief exponential expansion of the universe. That's the astronomy definition. Economics, right, a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. Okay.
Inflation.
So there you go. So that's where we're at. These businesses, the government support for them has, has kind of gone down, especially during the C19 shutdown. Like, you had the furlough schemes, those have ended. So businesses are not even getting the help that they'd like. So that's, as well. So yeah, I hope this was encouraging, uplifting, edifying, and serves as a warning of what's to come. Because our redemption. In fact, let me just get that. Because salvation is near. Is it Romans 13:1? Bear with me. High time. Right, Romans 13:11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Right, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Right, that's why we've got to be circumspect. Right, not be caught up in the lust of this world. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armour of light. And that light is this truth, this knowledge. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put you on the Lord Yahushai Hamashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. Right? Alright? Consume yourself with this word, with this knowledge. Okay? Because knowledge and wisdom will be the stability of thy times, according to Isaiah chapter 33 verse 6. You can't remain spiritually dead, mentally dead, not being circumspect of what's going on. Right? Got to watch as well as pray. So I hope this lesson was edifying. Double honor to the apostles, a great millstone. Alright? So keep striving, keep pushing, keep praying, keep studying, fast. Pray for one another. Pray for the elders and apostles. Alright? With that, all praises, unlimited praises, glory and honor goes to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Shalom. Shalom to the elect.